Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ray Alaburn. I am the VP Sales and Marketing at Juniper. I'm very pleased to host the webinar with more than 50 attendees from all types of travel companies. Thank you all for being here. You know, Juniper is the leading travel technology company with more than 250 customers using our booking engine around the world. Today, we have with us Davinia Mood, Demand Optimization Manager at Fastpayhotels. Fastpayhotels is a Juniper customer using our booking engine to sell non-refundable special deals and hotel chains around the world. And actually, Fastpayhotels has been conducting a pilot test of the new partnership between Juniper and Triometric. And Davinia is going to share the results of this test with us. Triometric, as you may already know, is a company that has been offering detailed analytics for more than 10 years to big players in the travel industry, such as Hotelbeds and Marriott, right? So today we're going to have Jonathan Buffy, Business Development Director of Triometric with us, as well as John Simpson, Services Director. They're going to explain us how Triometric can help your business be more optimized. So the webinar will have a maximum duration of 30 minutes, and it will be recorded and sent it over to you in case you want to share it internally. Please take into account that you will all be in mute while the panelists speak, and you're free to write your questions while they talk, and then at the end of the presentations, we'll have a Q&A session, right? So again, thank you very much for being with us. And now let's start with Davinia Mood, Demand Optimization Manager at Fastpayhotels.
Hello, everyone. My name is Davinia, and I work for Fastpayhotels as Demand Optimization Manager. Triometric has supposed a big progress in getting data from our clients and hotel inventory by creating customized reports. First of all, going deeper into our clients' demand. Now we know exactly what properties and destinations they search for, when they want to travel, check-in and check-out date, the lead time, any type of XML error they get. And essential for our business, we make sure that our properties are mapped by our clients. Regarding hotel inventory analysis, now we are able to get the percentage of availability and results by property count and hotel chain, dates of stay and duration requested, number of searches by hotel. We have an additional tool to be more accurate when optimizing our hotel portfolio. From the other hand, Triometric offers the possibility to inform us by email if something is wrong into our system. We receive alerts in real-time basis when a client has been switched off, when there are peak of traffic, or when there is an increase of response times. You can create and schedule the alerts you may need. Finally, I would like to mention that Triometric has a great range of possibilities and a very professional and helpful support team. It has been a good choice to improve our business intelligence data.
Okay, thank you, Davinia, for those insights and sharing, I guess, some of the things you've found with using the Triometric service, and indeed your kind words. I'm Jonathan Buffy. I'm the Business Development Director at Triometric. And I'm going to take you through a 5-minute overview of the service to talk about some of the key features and things that are kind of underpinning what Davinia has just been saying. So after the short presentation, I'll hand directly over to my colleague, John Simpson, our Client Services Director, and he'll spend some time actually showing you some of the reporting live. So the service itself, it's a collaboration between Juniper and Triometric. It brings together Juniper's expertise in running booking engine platforms and Triometric's expertise in doing API-based analytics. So we put together what is an optional service, so you can subscribe to it. The vision behind this is to provide some key points of focus, so around things like client behavior and activity, around product availability and inventory. Some of the financial side of things, so maybe some profit and margin stuff, and also an overview of perhaps how the platform is performing underneath. So we see these as the key areas to focus on. The service itself, it operates in real time. The data is collected as the traffic goes through into your booking engine. That's all done within the Juniper data center. There's some minimal processing done there, and then we pass the information up into the cloud to be detailed analytics performed on it using the Triome Analytics system. Everything ends up in a reporting system, and you connect to that system from your desktop simply using your web browser. From there, and these are the sorts of things we're going to show you, but you can see out-of-the-box reports, dashboards, covering off some of these areas we're going to talk about in a second or two. And we're also going to show you, obviously, these out-of-the-box reports. You can use them to help you run what I would call interactive or train of thought analysis. So you can dig into particular areas of interest and root causes, and you can modify these reports. You can build your own. There's a lot of flexibility in the system. It's designed to be incredibly interactive. You can export the reports as PDFs, so that gives you the opportunity to share them with, I guess, particular agents or something like that. You're having a conversation about a particular issue. You can actually put something down on a PDF and email it to them. You can also export the data directly into something like CSV file format or Excel format, pull it in, do some, I guess, additional analytics on it using maybe Excel or some other tool. And then finally, because the system's running in real time, we have the ability to track the key metrics that we're looking at, and we can set rules so that we can generate alerts. So for example, if bookings from a particular agent drop off by a certain percentage, send me an email because I might want to know about it. So the client management piece, let's focus on that. This is absolutely the ability to drill into sets of transactions coming from particular clients. So I can separate those out and I can look at what that client's behavior is. I can understand what sort of search volumes they have, how many bookings, the look to book ratios, whether they're doing a lot of cancellations. Is the traffic changing? Is there any growth in that traffic, or is it shrinking for that matter? So those are all the sorts of things that we can track that they're kind of sending to you. And at the same time, still at the client level, I can say, well, what sort of error rates do they see? Or are there any timeouts, or were still any cutoffs going on? Anything that's kind of getting in the way of business. You can also track the availability, so they're searching for particular things. You can see what level of availability they're being shared. And the response times to go with that. So we talk about these value being in real time. Typically, they're about 10 minutes behind the actual event, and that would be a typical, if you like, lag. But we also got the capability to run things like weekly reports, monthly reports, quarterly reports, etc. You can choose. On the product management side, this is all about looking at the availability that you have on offer. So it's kind of looking at what your contracting is delivering to the shopping that's coming into your system. So we have the ability to track requests at individual destinations or indeed individual property level, and be able to look at that and break it down by those property codes, etc., or destinations as it might be, and bringing in other things like check-in dates and so on, to really give a key view of what people are searching for. And then understand what you're offering back. So in particular, being able to hone in on areas where you're not offering things, so-called areas of no availability. And again, we can look at response times, we can find out where that's part of it, and again, you can do weekly, monthly, quarterly type summaries. On the financial side, we have the capability to connect to the Juniper ERP API that's part of the booking engine suite. So from there, we can pull out information about individual bookings, and that's very detailed information. It's the sales price, it's the purchase price, the respective currencies, the foreign exchange rates involved, any commission exchanges that need to happen, etc. So I can take this financial data and I can mix and match it with my traffic data to kind of understand where kind of parts of my business are profitable, or worse, where they maybe are a little less profitable, and I want to think about how I might improve that. I've got the ability to break this down by all sorts of different things. I mean, properties, hotel chains, maybe the agents, maybe the geographic markets involved. There's lots of possibilities here. And then there are a set of other just additional features that kind of come with the service. So clearly, if we can look at individual clients, we can put all those clients together and we can give you an overview of the whole business itself. So what's the total number of searches or bookings or cancellations, etc. And you can see from this sample chart, we've got quite a lot of information giving a feel for how your business is actually performing in a live sense. We can also give you a platform overview. So we're looking at response times overall, any errors and things that are occurring on the system. You would have visibility of those. And you can use things like alerting to help you not have to sit there and look at it, but actually set up rules to say, if this particular problem happens, let me know about it because I might be doing something else. So just to summarize then, it's a very simple to use service. The vision here is that it's going to focus down on these key areas of the kind of client behavior, the inventory product stuff, the financial side of it, and maybe some platform stuff. there's enough detail in here to make it actionable. So this is very important, you know, when they would drill down to, for example, an individual property code and look at what's happening with it. It means I can take action, and that's absolutely critical. Everything's happening in real time, so remember, there's a slight delay, maybe 10 minutes, but you're really on top of things. You have the ability to react and change the outcome. You don't need to be an expert because a lot of stuff's already built in, but you have flexibility to build your own stuff too. And the way the commercials work, it's simply an annual subscription. That is simply you renew it once a year. It's a monthly fee associated with that, and that's driven by the size of traffic we need to analyze on your behalf. So hopefully that's a good run through of what the service is looking like, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague John to take you through the report.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm now going to go through a few examples from a demo system we have running. These will mostly be the sort of out-of-the-box reports that everyone would get, but this is a fully configurable tool. And if there are extra reports you like or tweaks to existing ones, that's completely possible to be done by either us or with training by yourselves. So this first example I'm going to show you is a bit of an overview dashboard. Dashboards are typically run on big TV screens by our clients. It can show you the health of your business, but it also can identify any potential issues to investigate further from within the dashboard. Possibly if a look to book suddenly shoots up or your searches drop off, you can see it on a overview dashboard, typically around 10 minutes behind that actually happening potentially, and you can go and investigate from there. Let's say, for example, that we're not happy with that number of cancellations for today. We can follow through to the cancellations dashboard that will give you a bit more information to see if that number is the same over a week, is that a particularly high number. And we can see here in this example, this last week, we have a particular client who has quite a few cancellations that may lead to a conversation with your client manager and that client. Moving on to a report looking at availability by property. So we can see from this report that this property has a particularly bad time with returning no availability, and we can drill down further to see when people are searching for that there's no availability available. So drilling down on check-in date in this case, we'll be able to see what the most popular date that is being returned with no availability is. And again, we can drill down further to see who is actually searching for these dates and getting a no availability response. A no availability response is obviously not good for your business. It can't lead to a booking, and that's something to be avoided at all costs. If I return back to the previous view, we can then order by the check-in date to get an indication of the look ahead in terms of what no availability responses are being returned. And well in advance, we can try and address those. So maybe we've seen this little bump here that looks like it's around Christmas, and we can zoom in and well in advance start to prepare for what we know is high demand and there's not so much supply potentially. I have another report in this area to show you, this time looking at who are people searching for the most, but are returning with least bookings. So this just gives you another indication of where the highest demand but lowest supply is, to hopefully be able to be actioned. Moving on to another area to do with demand, this time looking at the demand from a city level. We're able to bring in the mapping data for the city that each hotel is in, so that all searches, whether or not it was a city level search or a specific property search or number of property searches, we can have those all in the same report and give you an overview of where the demand is. We can see here that the most popular searches are Paris and an area close to Paris. And from this item down here, we can see where the demand is coming from. In this case, in this particular part of the data, we can see that Italy has a particularly high demand. Perhaps there's been a boost in the marketing campaign in Italy for Paris products. potentially with a bit of research into the French tourist boards, you could potentially look at increasing your supply to meet a predicted demand. A particular problem that I can highlight in this next report is people searching for unmapped properties. Unmapped properties are obviously properties that can't be booked. They're not sort of officially on the system. And again, we can see our old friend Top Class Motels 28, who had the high level of cancellations. This client is the biggest offender in making searches for unmapped properties. We can then drill down and see exactly what properties they're looking for. And from this screen, we can very easily export the data and send an email to this client. We now want to talk to them about two different things. Why are you cancelling so much, and why are you searching for so many unmapped properties? And we can export to a number of different formats and email within a few clicks. You don't need to take a screenshot and take it to Paint and crop it and put it into your email. All of that can be done within a few clicks, including sharing a link across that's available for a configurable amount of days, so that people can without a login, see a report, have a little click around, but not be given full access to the reporter. The last area to show you a few reports I want to do is looking at the financial information. So as Jonathan mentioned earlier, we're able to bring in information about rates and profit margins and things for every product, and we can group that by a number of different fields. So in this case, we're looking at that information by supplier, so we can see who is pretty much giving the most profit, what are the selling prices for the different suppliers, to just have a look, a greater analysis into how different suppliers are returning and how they're doing in terms of your business. This next dashboard, for instance, is showing you an overview of the last 7 days and a bit of a focus in the last 24 hours. We can see the profit and the net sale price on average that's being sold over the last 24 hours, how many bookings, and a 7-day overview of your sales. From any item on a dashboard, we can open it up to give a bit more information. And let's say we want to drill a bit further into the sales in this particular scenario. Here we have quite a high net sale price, so we may want to investigate further what sales were actually being made there. We can drill down and have a look at the cost and the sale currency, as well as the supplier, the client, and the property chain for this information. In this top example, we can see quite a high sale. This was one booking and it was 4,500 euros. We may want to investigate further to see if that was a genuine sale. So I can switch to the raw data very easily. And what that allows us to do is to drill right down into the actual messages that were sent back and forth to give an extra level of verification that actually, yes, this was a genuine sale. And we can see right from a 7 days overview, we can drill right down into an individual booking to see the requested and the responded XML. So very, very quickly, we can traverse the different levels of data that we store. We went from a seven-day overview dashboard, potentially on a big TV screen, right down to an individual set of XML that was sent back and forth within a few clicks. Those are the reports I wanted to show you today. I hope that's given you an insight into an introduction to what Triometric is able to show and the different levels of data we have and the abilities our tool has. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan and John. I got a question here. I tell it to you to see which of you can answer that, please. I noticed that you showed some example property codes in the reports. Am I able to report by property name, location, hotel chain, etc.?
Okay, Ray, I think I'm happy to take that one. So yes, I think John showed quite a few reports actually with sort of a column in there with property codes. So the idea of the system here is a property code is typically the thing that's flowing in the XML. There are other codes as well, so agent codes and client codes, etc. as part of the system, we bring in lookup data from a specific client's engine, if you like, booking engine. So we're able to translate all of those, magic numbers, the property codes, destination codes, etc., into, I don't know, if it's the property, it's the name of the property. It might be the city, location, country. Maybe it's part of a chain, for example. If it's a client, it could be maybe the part of a hierarchy or there's individual accounts. That client is this is a point of sale for a group of people, a group of companies. We might be able to have the group level information there. The source markets, all sorts of things. So there's a whole load of data that we can bring in as part of this lookup system to really help us make the reporting human readable, and also to use it for things like grouping and filtering. So I'm kind of using this business-centric information to help me get to what I call this sort of business answer. So it's pretty critical to get down to that key answer for you, so you can take an action. Hope that kind of covers it, Ray.
Yeah, thanks. If any of you or any of the attendees has any question, please, now is the moment to write your questions and have Triometric or Fastpay or Juniper answer them. Okay, I got one more coming here. Can you provide a little more detail on how the service actually works and how I access the reports?
Okay, so yes, the presentation was relatively high level, and the focus was around, I guess, the service features, benefits type thing. So there are various processes we go through. So there is a collection capability, which is technology from Triometric. It sits in the Juniper data center. It's using the network switch to provide it with a copy of the traffic. So it's literally network packets. And that collector will transform those packets into transactions. And that's obviously a real-time process. It's done from the switch with a read-only copy of the traffic. So it actually has zero impact on your booking engine performance. It's not loading that at all. Okay. And then the transaction logs that get generated, they get transmitted up to, in a secure connection. They go up to the cloud. We extract the information from those transactions, in particular the XML documents, to give the KPIs, as I would call them, so all these columns in the reports, to get that information together, put it into a database, and run it through a reporter, which you connect to from the web browser, which is what you saw John doing a minute or two ago. So, pretty reasonable process.
Thank you, Jonathan. I see there are no more questions, so thank you all for attending this webinar. Triometric will be sending you shortly the video of the webinar so that you can share it internally, as well as the contact details so that you can actually continue the conversation with Triometric in order to benefit from their expertise. Thanks again to everyone for attending, and hope to see you next webinar.